Forbidden Jutsu. Forbidden Jutsu refers to techniques that are prohibited from being used. These are often extremely powerful techniques, but they come with risks, sacrifices for the user. In this video, I will be introducing a compilation of particularly dangerous forbidden jutsu from the Naruto series. Multiple Shadow Clone Jutsu. This is an enhanced version of Naruto's signature Shadow Clone Jutsu. The number of shadow clones is determined by the user's chakra amount. For a regular shadow clone, the number is typically in single digits. With Naruto's multiple shadow clone jutsu, he can create more than 1,000 clones. Hearing this, you might think it's a convenient and powerful technique that can increase the user's numbers. However, with great power comes great risk. The shadow clone jutsu requires evenly distributing chakra to the clones. The more clones a user creates, the more chakra they consume, which can be life-threatening in some cases. As a result, it was sealed as a forbidden jutsu in the Scroll of Seals by the first Hokage. Naruto has an above-average amount of chakra and can use techniques due to being the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails, Kurama. Wind Release, Rasen Shuriken. This is an enhanced version of the Rasengan, which can be considered one of Naruto's representative techniques. Ninjutsu is generally activated by applying nature transformation and shape transformation to the user's chakra. Nature transformation changes the properties of chakra to elements like fire and lightning. Shape transformation changes the form of chakra. Rasengan is a ninjutsu that utilizes shape transformation. Wind Release, Rasen Shuriken is the Rasengan with added wind nature transformation. In other words, it's a ninjutsu that is activated by utilizing both nature transformation and shape transformation. This technique was something that even the fourth Hokage, Naruto's father, Minato Namikaze, couldn't master. From this, it can be said that the difficulty of learning this technique is at the highest S rank or even considered impossible. While the power of the Wind Release, Rasen Shuriken, is indeed top class, but it is not the only thing that is bad. If one is struck by the shuriken-shaped wind surrounding the Rasengan, they will be sliced into countless pieces. This is because the wind release chakra has been transformed into innumerable microscopic blades. Additionally, the chakra network, which can be considered a ninja's lifeline, is utterly devastated. The attack speed and number of strikes are too fast for even the Sharingan to perceive. It can be said that among the techniques used by Naruto, this one has the highest lethality. The Wind Release, Rasen Shuriken, which possesses such immense power, doesn't come without a cost to the user. When Naruto first used it, the immense power caused him to fracture his bones due to the vibrations. In addition, his own chakra network was damaged. Continued use would have completely destroyed his chakra network, rendering him unable to mold chakra. As a result, Tsunade, the fifth Hokage, considered designating the Wind Release, Rasen Shuriken, as a forbidden jutsu. However, after mastering Sage Mode, Naruto was able to control Senjutsu chakra. Since it was discovered that there was no risk in using the Rasen Shuriken, he became able to use it. Thanks to this, the discussion of it being a forbidden jutsu was dropped. If the conversation had proceeded, it would have become a forbidden jutsu due to the excessive risk for ordinary ninja. That's why we introduced it as a forbidden jutsu this time. The 8 Gates Released Formation. This technique grants extraordinary physical abilities by forcibly unlocking the 8 limiters within the body. The 8 limiters, known as the 8 gates, are gates that restrict the flow of chakra in the body. Starting from the head, they are the opening gate, rest gate, life gate, wound gate, view gate, shock gate, and finally, the death gate located near the heart. The 8 Gates Released Formation enhances physical abilities. Furthermore, it allows the user to activate unique techniques utilizing its effects. However, because opening a gate means forcing the body to exert more force than its limit, the strain on the body is tremendous, and depending on the number of gates opened, the body may not be able to move at all due to the recoil. Because of these risks, techniques that utilize the 8 Gates Released Formation are considered forbidden jutsu. The state of having the final, 8th gate, the death gate, opened is called 8 Gates Released Formation. It is characterized by blood-red steam coming out of the body. In this state, the user temporarily gains power surpassing even the 5 Kage. However, this power comes at the cost of the user's life. As expected, immense power comes with significant risks, such as becoming immobilized due to recoil or ultimately dying. It's no wonder these techniques are designated as forbidden jutsu. Izanagi. This is one of the forbidden jutsu passed down through the Uchiha clan. The user can turn an inconvenient reality into a dream and convenient occurrences into reality. The risk of Dujitsu Izanagi, a cheat class Dujitsu, that can pretend that an inconvenient reality, even death, did not exist. It is the blindness of Sharingan, which is also a condition for the activation of Izanagi. Upon using Izanagi, the Sharingan loses its light and never regains it. Moreover, those who use Izanagi may become arrogant and lazy due to its overwhelming power. Furthermore, if several people use Izanagi, they will end up fighting each other for their respective favorable outcomes. This can also be considered one of the risks associated with using Izanagi. Izanami. Like Izanagi, Izanami is one of the forbidden techniques passed down through the Uchiha clan. Izanami is a dojutsu that complements Izanagi and was created to stop Izanagi users. Simply put, it is a technique that traps the opponent in an infinite loop. This is a genjutsu that manipulates the brief sensations of both the users and the target's bodies rather than relying on visual perception. Just like Izanagi, the risk of using this technique is the blindness of the Sharingan. Additionally, there is a way to escape the infinite loop of Izanami. To stop Izanagi means to save the user from arrogance and laziness. If one can accept the original outcome, the infinite loop of Izanami will be broken. In other words, stop using Izanagi to turn reality into a dream and change one's fate. And accept the original outcome of reality. Due to the risk of blindness and the existence of a way out, Izanami is considered a forbidden technique. Reaper Death Seal. This is a technique that seals by having the Reaper consume the souls of both the user and the target. The users are the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. When it was activated, the Reaper appears behind the user. Then, the Reaper's arm passes through the user's abdomen to drag out the target's soul. After that, the user's soul, along with the target's, is consumed by the Reaper. And the seal is successful. A characteristic of a successful seal is the pattern that appears on the user's abdomen. It takes a certain amount of chakra to seal, and if there is not enough chakra, it is not possible to pull out all of their souls. Those whose souls are consumed by the Reaper cannot attain enlightenment. They will eternally fight inside the belly of the Reaper. Once sealed, Edo Tensei, which is to be mouthed from the Pure Land, is impossible. Hiruzen Sarutobi sealed the arms of the first Hokage, second Hokage, and Orochimaru. Minato Namikaze sealed half of the 9 tails with Reaper Death Seal. The Reaper Death Seal, which can seal even the Hokage and tailed beasts, comes at the cost of the user's life. Considering the high risk, it is understandable why it is a forbidden technique. Reaper Death Seal, Release. This is a technique to release the souls sealed by the Reaper through the Reaper Death Seal. First, put on the Reaper's mask found in the Uzumaki clan's No Mask Hall. Next, activate the technique to allow the Reaper to possess your body and perform ritual disembowelment. By doing so, the souls inside the Reaper's stomach are released. Since this technique, like the Reaper Death Seal, costs the user's life, it is classified as a forbidden technique. Cursed Seal of Earth. This forbidden technique from Hidden Waterfall Village allows the user to generate and manipulate black tendrils from their body. The user is Kakuzu, a member of Akatsuki. With these tendrils, the user can separate or attach parts of their body. The most dangerous aspect of this technique is the ability to absorb other people's hearts. Up to 5 hearts can be absorbed, and the user won't die unless all of them are destroyed. By absorbing chakra natures, you can handle up to 5 different nature transformations. The absorbed hearts can be individually dispersed and manipulated like living creatures. The cost of this technique is unknown, but there probably isn't one. However, due to the inhumanity of stealing other people's hearts, it is considered a forbidden technique. Twin snakes mutual death technique. This technique causes both the user and the opponent to die when they form hand seals with each other's hands. The user is Anko Madarashi, who learned this technique from Orochimaru. Anko attempted to use this technique on Orochimaru. However, she halted the activation of the technique, as the target turned out to be Orochimaru's shadow clone. Regardless of whether the opponent is a clone, the technique will activate, and the user will die due to the risk involved. It is not unreasonable for this to be classified as a forbidden technique. Ninjutsu, Creation Rebirth. A technique that instantly heals the body by rapidly accelerating cell division. The users are Tsunade and Sakura Haruno. By releasing a large amount of chakra at once, this technique rapidly accelerates cell division to regenerate the body. It can instantly heal any wound, but the risk involved is significant. Humans have a predetermined number of times their cells can divide within their lifetime. Therefore, forcing cell division to occur faster will shorten one's lifespan. Due to such risks, creation rebirth is considered a forbidden technique. One's own life reincarnation. A forbidden technique from Hidden Sand Village that shares life by using all of the user's chakra as a medium. The user is Granny Chio. This technique was developed to breathe life into Sasori's puppet parents and can be used on both the living and the dead. If used on the living, it can heal even fatal wounds. If used on the dead, it can revive them. And if the user does not have enough chakra to raise the dead, he or she will not be able to do so. In such cases, user can ask others for help and share their chakra. The reason it is forbidden is that it is at the cost of the user's life, and reviving the dead goes against the natural order. Summoning Edo Tensei. Edo Tensei is one of the forbidden jutsu developed by the second Hokage, Senju Tobarama. It involves using a living person as a vessel for the soul of the deceased, reviving them and controlling them at will. To activate Edo Tensei, two essential elements are needed. The first is a living human body, as mentioned earlier. This is used as a vessel for the soul of the deceased. The second is the personal information and DNA of the deceased you wish to resurrect. This includes a part of the deceased's body or blood, for example. Without these two elements, resurrection through Edo Tensei is not possible. Also, if the soul of the deceased you wish to resurrect is not in the Pure Land, you cannot resurrect them. A prime example is when the soul is sealed by the Reaper Death Seal. In this case, the soul of the deceased is inside the Death God's stomach, so it cannot be revived. During the Konoha crash, Orochimaru performed Edo Tensei, resulting in this situation. He summoned the previous Hokages, but Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, could not be revived. This was because his soul was not in the Pure Land due to the Reaper Death Seal. Bodies resurrected through Edo Tensei are called Edo Tensei bodies. And to be honest, they are incredibly powerful. The reason for this is their immortal bodies and infinite chakra. Edo Tensei bodies can instantly regenerate from any damage or attack, except for yin-yang release. An Edo Tensei shinobi will never run out of chakra no matter how much jutsu they use. However, this does not mean that their original chakra limit becomes infinite. Despite this, you might think it's too overpowered, right? When Edo Tensei is released by the caster forming a hand seal, the soul ascends to the heavens. By the way, even if the caster dies, the jutsu will not be released. As an exception, the Sage of the Six Paths has released the jutsu without being the caster. Moreover, those revived through Edo Tensei can forcibly break the contract if they know the seal. In this case, the soul will not ascend to the heavens even if the caster tries to release the jutsu. This is one of the risks of Edo Tensei. Additionally, depending on the power and strength of the resurrected individual, the caster may not be able to control them. This is also one of the risks. There is an inhumane aspect of requiring sacrifices and manipulating the dead. This is, of course, why it is a forbidden jutsu. Eternal Youth and Life Technique. A jutsu that grants practical immortality by taking over other people's bodies. Orochimaru had the objective of obtaining all jutsu. A lifetime's worth of time would not be enough to achieve this. So, Orochimaru developed this technique to solve that problem. When possessing someone, Orochimaru transforms into a giant snake, his true form. He then absorbs the target into his own body. Later, it seems that the jutsu has become more powerful, and he takes over the body by entering through the target's mouth. It is possible that this is because the target was a white zetsu. Once this technique is used, it cannot be used again for 3 years. Furthermore, there is a risk of being possessed instead if the technique is repelled by the Sharingan. It's no wonder this technique is considered forbidden due to its inhuman nature of taking over someone else's body. Outer Path Rinne Rebirth Jutsu. A jutsu that governs life and death, allowing the caster to revive the dead in exchange for their own life. The users are Nagato and Obito Uchiha. This is a Rinnegan-based reincarnation ninjutsu, and one of the 6 paths techniques, representing the power of the outer path. There is also the similarly forbidden jutsu, the one's own life reincarnation, which revives the dead in exchange for the caster's life. It seems that there are certain conditions to revive the dead using this technique. When Nagato used this technique, he said, "If it's the people I killed in Konoha, there's still time." This suggests that there may be a time limit for reviving the dead. This means that if a certain amount of time has passed since the death, it would be impossible to revive them. Considering Nagato's statement, the time limit would likely be at most a few days. However, this theory is not very convincing. This is because Obito revived Madara, who was at Edo Tensei bodies. However, it can also be considered an exception because it was revived through the Edo Tensei. There are questions surrounding the outer path, Rinne Rebirth Jutsu. I would like to hear your theories and opinions as well. Jar of Poison Technique. This technique first involves using a large number of human bodies to propagate poisonous insects. It is a forbidden jutsu of the Aburame clan that infects the surrounding area by causing an explosion. The user is Torian Aburame, a close associate of Danzo and a good friend of Shino Aburame. Torian Aburame has poisonous insects living inside his body. Those who come into contact with the poisonous insects become infected, with their cells destroyed, leading to death. Moreover, these poisonous insects can only survive within living cells. The Jar of Poison technique infects a large number of humans with these poisonous insects, allowing them to multiply within the cells. The explosion spreads the cells contaminated by the poisonous insects. As a result, this terrifying technique infects all living creatures in the vicinity. The reason this technique is forbidden is likely due to the requirement of a large number of corpses to propagate the poisonous insects. Exploding Clay. A technique that creates clay bombs by feeding clay to a mouth on the user's palm and mixing it with their chakra. This technique utilizes the forbidden technique of Hidden Rock Village, which involves kneading chakra into a material. The user is Deidara, a member of the Akatsuki. The power of the explosion from exploding clay varies depending on the amount of chakra mixed into the clay. Deidara's exploding clay comes in several types, C1 to C4 and C0. As the numbers increase, so does the power of the explosion, with the C3's power being enough to destroy an entire village. C4 is unique in that it scatters a large number of tiny bombs, so small that they are invisible to the naked eye. C0 is Deidara's last resort, where he feeds clay to the mouth on his chest, turning himself into a bomb and detonating it. The power of the explosion reaches a radius of 10 kilometers. It's understandable that it's a last resort, as it requires sacrificing one's own life. Explosive clay is likely an earth release technique. This is because it is Kekkei Genkai ninjutsu, and when it explodes, the user forms the hand seals of earth release, and it can be nullified by lightning release. Deidara claims it is explosion release, but what is the truth behind this? Conclusion. We have introduced some extremely dangerous, forbidden techniques from the Naruto series. There is something intriguing about forbidden techniques, isn't there? It has a sense of romance to it. What is your favorite technique? Please let us know in the comments. We will continue to create explanatory and speculative videos about Naruto and Boruto. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.